Welcome back to the Strictly Footy podcast, lads. Bit of a different one here today. I'm joined by Mitchell Donnelly. He has played for the Netherlands National Rugby League team. Mitch, how we going?
I'm great, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, man. Keen to get into it. I have no idea about anything European rugby league outside of maybe the Super League. So
hmm
keen to get into some things. First off, just want to know a little bit about how you started rugby league. Was it something you picked up early? Was it something you picked up later on? How did that come about?
Yeah, so I was quite lucky. Had an older brother, had a younger brother, um, and obviously my dad. We all loved footy, um, and yeah, from what I can remember, I was always watching my younger brother play footy down at the park. Um, every night after dinner, we'd be playing knee footy straight after dinner. That was sort of non-negotiable. Um, we'd be playing, Dad would be up washing up, and we'd be just playing footy, getting into each other. He'd be in the kitchen yelling at us to sort of cut it out. But yeah, that was it pretty much. And then um, yeah, I guess school footy, playing with your mates
Yep.
every afternoon. Come home and play footy with Dad, my brother. Um, that's pretty much it.
Was there ever any aspirations there to go and play in the NRL? Or was that kind
Definitely,
of,
yeah.
yeah,
No, when I was younger, that was the goal, and you know, everyone thinks they're going to make it to the NRL at some point, but didn't pan out that way. But yeah,
did you try out for Harold Matts or SG Ball or anything like that, or just stuck to the A grade?
no. So I was in like the under 13 to 14 development teams for Manly.
Oh wow.
Um, so yeah, I was in there, and then I don't know. At that age, I sort of wasn't really enjoying footy that much. I did try out for Harold Matts. I was actually grew up playing against Sam Verrills, and
Oh wow.
he was the opposite nine. We'd always play against each other. So obviously he got that spot, um, and someone else got the utility spot. So I didn't make it, unfortunately. And then that was pretty much it for my junior footy. I pretty much stopped after that. Um, just fell out of love with the game, really.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so from there, how do you go from falling out of of the game to playing for the Dutch National Rugby League team?
Yeah, so essentially after that, I went straight into my chippy apprenticeship. Um, Worked for about 4 years, and sort of, all my mates were still playing at school and still playing on the weekends, and sort of got the itch again watching them. So I came back to Narrabeen and played under 20s there.
Yep.
We lost the grand final, and then I think the year after COVID happened, so footy sort of stopped again. Um, Stopped there for a couple of years, was working again, got the itch again to play A grade. Um, and I sort of always knew in the back of my mind that the Netherlands had a team, and it was always a goal of mine to, I'd always, because my mum's Dutch, I was always speaking to her and saying how cool would it be to go over and, represent
Yeah.
her country. So, yeah, played A grade in, I think, 2023. And that pre-season, um, I thought, stuff it, I'll just um, email the Netherlands league team, and sort of got a response from them. Got in contact with the head coach Dave Hunter, um, and essentially had to send in a bunch of videos, and had a couple FaceTime meetings with Dave. There's obviously a lot of guys that are getting in contact to play for the Dutch team, so it's quite a big selection process, I guess. You can only have, I think, maybe 6 or 7 heritage players, I guess.
Okay. Are most from outside of the Netherlands, or are they from?
Nah, so it's probably about 6 or 7 of us heritage players that play, and the rest are all
Okay.
pretty much Dutch born players, yeah.
So on the field, you call in plays and things. Are you speaking Dutch or English?
Well, I can speak fluent Dutch,
Oh wow.
so I can, talk to all the boys and that, but for a couple of the other Aussie boys that come over there, just English, so we're speaking English during the game and at trainings and that.
Yeah, fair enough. Because I assume the majority of Dutch people that I've had contact with speak English pretty well.
Mm-mm.
So I
Yeah, they
assume
all
it's
learn.
like that.
Yeah, they all learn English from a young age, so the English is quite good actually. But it is tough trying to translate, sort of footy terms into sort of, explaining them in English, I guess, to them.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So 2023, you make your debut for the Dutch national team. Did you go over there as a hooker? Because I've looked at, I don't know if you know Rugby League Project, but you've played like every position in Rugby League
Oh
on there.
yeah, I know. You're telling me. Um, yeah. So, well, when I was sending Dave video, I was playing center back at
Okay.
home. But I grew up playing hooker. Um, so I'm naturally a hooker. But then when I came back in 23, we already had a hooker. So I slot into the center. I can pretty much play anywhere, um, except for in the forwards. um, so yeah, I went over as sort of to play hooker and maybe to play center. They already had a hooker in Holland.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, that first game, uh, yeah, essentially I came off the bench at hooker.
What minute did you come on? Because I know you've got a story for this game, and I'll let you tell it. I don't want to spoil it, but when did you come onto the field in that game?
So I was coming off the bench. I think I came on about the 25th or 30th minute.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I pretty much never started on the bench. I didn't know what to do really. I was sort of a cat in a hot tin roof really. I was sort of looking at Dave, talking to him, telling him I'm ready to go on. And he eventually gave me the nod and he just said to me, just get on there and run. And yeah, that's what I did essentially.
Yeah, tell me about the first game because there's not a lot of clips of it. I did look.
Mm.
Uh, Tell me how that went.
So essentially, I arrived in Holland on the Thursday. Um, Never met any of the boys, never met any of the coaching staff. I only knew Tom Bock, who captained us that year. We actually played against each other in the Sydney comp.
Okay.
So we sort of went over together. Um, so yeah, essentially, I get there Thursday, arrived at the game on Saturday. No, so I get picked up by one of the boys Saturday. Never met him. We're driving to the game. We pick up Harry Mulligan and Lucas Thompson, two Knights New South Wales Cup players. So I'm pretty nervous as it is, and they've got their headphones in, and I'm sort of trying to make small talk, and they're giving me nothing, and I'm just like, oh shit, what am I doing here? So yeah, rock up to the game, meet all the boys, saw my good mate Tom, um, and then yeah, warmed up, sung the anthem, which was unreal in front of all my family and that for the first time. Um, and then yeah, so I come on about the 30th minute. Dave tells me just to go on and run. And I think we scored, so I come on the kickoff. And I think second or third tackle there was a lazy mark, and I just picked up on about the 30-meter line, our 30-meter line, and ran about 60 meters. Got tackled by the fullback, and then that was
Good
pretty much
start.
it. Yeah, my confidence from there was just like I was just buzzing. And then second half, I think halfway through the second half, I get no. So before the game, I went up to Tom. I was playing hooker, and I said, Tom, if we're attacking their line, I'll put a little grubber through for you because he was playing lock at the time,
Hmm.
and so we called it Newey because I go for the Knights. So I dummied it out the back, put a little grubber in for Tom. He scores, and we're just going ballistic, me and Tom. And then yeah, so second half, I moved to centre, and I get the ball on about the fourth, fifth tackle, and I love playing eyes up footy. So
Hmm.
if the kick's on, I'll kick it. Like it doesn't matter what tackle it is, I'll kick it. And I cop a bit of stick from it from the coaches and that. But I mean, so I got the ball, looked up. The fullback was expecting to kick. There was no wingers back, and I just looked up and just didn't even think about it. Just dropped it on the foot, chip and chase, got a perfect bounce, sidestepped the fullback, and scored about a 50-meter try. And that was just unreal as well.
The
So,
scenes, the celebration. Did
oh,
you put a good celebration in for us?
oh no, I just got around the boys. Didn't do any dances or anything.
Uh,
That comes a
that was
bit
your
later.
first try for the
Yeah,
Netherlands?
yeah, that was the first try
Wow.
for the Netherlands in my first game.
Just an instinctive chip and chase. Who'd you play in that first game again?
Oh, it was Norway.
Norway. They're not ranked too high, are they?
No, they're not ranked too high, but our coach Dave used to coach Norway,
Okay.
and I think it was his first time versing them, so he was sort of revving us up to get into them in before we started, and yeah, we definitely did.
Fair call. All right, so you get the chip and chase in the first game. You go on to play, I believe, Albania.
Yeah,
Did you start this game? Did that earn you a starting jersey? Or
I started and I played the full 80 at hooker. Yeah,
played the full
yeah,
80?
yeah, which
Did
was
you?
tough. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I've got here, minute 55, Mitch Donnelly, use of elbow, Simbin.
yeah.
Run me through that one.
Yeah, so I guess we're coming up against a big Albanian team. They're all big boys. They're all
Yep.
talking Albanian and fucking giving us heaps, and they're quite a dirty team.
Okay.
So I think in the first 5 minutes, Tom Bock took a hit up, knocked out the biggest bloke in their team, just knocked him out cold. He was snoring on the ground. And so he got up, and the Albanians were fired up. They were fucking yelling at us and sort of pushing us. And then I think in the second half there was a scuffle, and I don't know if you can remember the State of Origin where Michael Jennings comes over to throw that
Yep.
punch, and he misses him.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much exactly what happened. Some Albanian bloke, we're in a sort of a scuffle, and he comes running in, and he missed our halfback Damon. He just went like that and missed him by like that much. And it was just like, it was such a dirty game. And a bit later on, I tackled someone and sort of gave him a bit of a facial with the elbow,
Yeah, okay.
and got sent for 10. Um, and actually got like a formal letter. So I had to go to the judiciary essentially,
Oh,
and got a formal letter from the International Rugby League. And I was told I was pretty lucky not to miss the next game.
yeah. Was the coach
Which,
annoyed at you, or was it like
oh,
he
it
saw what
was,
the Albanians were like and
yeah, it was
he
sort of,
kind of understood?
yeah, it was sort of, yeah, he understood. It was fine. We were winning by quite well anyway, so
Yeah, I got
I was,
58-18. This game ended here.
yeah,
So,
I think I scored. It says I only scored one try, but I scored two.
oh, okay.
Scored, yeah, I don't know what happened there, but I scored one in the first half, and I scored another one in the second half.
Yeah, man. Just off the match description, it seems like a wild game. I also see here 77th minute, Andy Zanelli punching Simbin.
Yeah, well, that might have been it,
There's
or it
a
might have
few,
been later, but
yeah. There's
yeah,
a
it was a
few use of elbows here. I think there's
yeah,
five Simbins overall.
it was a
So
dirty game. I think Tom might have got sent off as well, like captain.
far
Did
out.
he? I think I'm not quite sure, but yeah, it was quite a dirty game, and we were winning quite well, so
Did you
they're
win
getting
the
pretty
fight?
angry.
Because you
Well,
smoked them in the match. You're coming up
we did,
against all
yeah.
of you
We
boys.
got up in the niggle as well. Yeah, definitely. He's about, I don't know how old he is. He's a lot older. He's like 30 something. He's got a couple kids. He's sort of, oh, I've got two kids. I don't need to be around here punching all these young Albanians.
In front of the family too.
Yeah, in front of
Oh
all
man.
yeah, it was literally right in front of the family. So they weren't too impressed either, but they're quite surprised about how rough, because they all grow up in soccer. They're quite surprised how rough footy actually is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But for us, it's just normal, Give
Did,
someone an
did
elbow.
you have family coming to watch you that live in the Netherlands currently?
Yeah, so um, I've got more family in Holland than I do here.
Oh wow. Okay.
I don't know.
Whereabouts?
They're all about 10 minutes north of Amsterdam,
Oh, okay.
which is unreal. So yeah, both my mum's sisters are still over there.
hmm
And I got, aunties, uncles, and all my cousins, and they pretty much came and watched every game.
Had they all at least heard of rugby league?
Well, not really until I told them I was coming over rugby league, and they were like, "What the hell is rugby league?" And sort of like, "Do you wear helmets and
Yeah.
shoulder
No.
pads?" I'm like, "No, that's in America." So they had no idea, and like the whole 5 weeks I was there, I was just trying to explain to them how it worked, and they actually got it towards the end there. So
Yeah.
and they actually loved it. Like my aunties and that, like I prefer watching this in soccer. They just carry on in soccer.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah,
All right, game 3 against Serbia, top 10
mm.
nation. Talk me through this one.
Yeah. So obviously the top 10 nation in Serbia, there was a lot of chat going around that the Serbia's quite like sort of the big dogs in the European Rugby League, I guess.
Yep.
Being ranked 10 there, and yeah, that whole week we were just sort of talking about like if we beat Serbia, ranked 10th, I think we were about 18 at that time. Like this is just going to put like Netherlands Rugby League on the map if we beat them. So
hmm
we're
Did you
really
guys think you were a
focused.
chance before the game?
Well, because you don't really know who they're going to bring over. So there was rumors like they brought a couple Elite One players over from France. A couple good players came over, so we were well prepared to have a hard game. But like I guess going in any game, you're sort of always, thinking you're going to win and trying to prepare to win. So we yeah, we just did that the whole week at training, and yeah, the rest is history really.
Yeah, so I've got here a 40-10 win, so it wasn't even close in the end.
No,
Did you guys dominate from start to finish? Did it blow out at the end?
it sort of blew out a bit at the end. So I think the first 20 was um, quite a bit of an armour. So I started off the bench again. I think came on at 14 and played hooker for the first half, and then went to centre in the second half. So again, it was a bit of arm wrestle. I was on the bench, just couldn't wait to get on. And I think we were up maybe by 12 at halftime.
Yep.
And sort of we went into the sheds at halftime up 12-0. We're like, holy shit, like we can win this. Like this is huge. And sort of Damon sort of laid down the law. He said, like, this is going to put us on the map. We're about to make history. Let's just go out and put them to bed. And yeah, that's what we did essentially.
Now, in the message that you sent me, you said now it's not funny, but something quite funny happened to the referee.
Yeah,
How
so
does that happen?
in the second half, we forced a dropout, and the ref was sort of standing on the 10-meter line, sort of right
Just
directly in front of the black dot on the 10-meter line.
right.
And they've gone to drop out, and he's sort of turned as they're kicking, and he shanked it. So the referee's turned, he shanked the kick, and it's hit him square in the back of the head, and he's just like fallen straight down, like face down. And everyone's like, "What the fuck
Oh,
is
no.
going on here?" And like our physio and trainers were running on, and like the game stopped for like 10, 15 minutes to get him off.
Was there
And
another ref like right there, or
yeah, they had to bring the touchy came in and refed, and then there was like an official from the European Rugby League. He went and ran the line.
fair enough? Was there
Was that?
huge celebrations? Oh,
Oh yeah,
obviously not over the knockout, but over beating Serbia.
yeah, it was massive. So we were actually playing down south in Holland. So a lot of us boys
Oh, no night
stayed
out in
down.
Amsterdam.
Nah, unfortunately not. So yeah, we all stayed down there, and yeah, we actually went out with a couple of the Serbian boys. They were good about the loss. So, and then straight after the game, essentially what we do, we go in the clubhouse, we do a presentation, men in the match type thing, and the club sort of puts on a feed, and we all sort of have a feed and have some drinks together, and then I guess yeah, we all sort of went out there a bit later. The whole team pretty much went out. A couple of the boys are from there, so they took us to the local, and yeah, we just sent it really.
Yeah, fair call. That was your last game in the Netherlands. You then went over to Germany. I assume you played Germany in that first game.
Yeah,
How was that one?
yeah. So coming off that win, we were just on an absolute high. We think we could beat everyone. Um, so playing in Germany, we had to carpool down there ourselves. Um,
How
no,
far across the border was it?
no team bus or anything. So it was about, I think it was about 3 hours.
Okay,
So
decent
so it
road trip.
was so us Aussie boys. It was me, Tom Bock, Lucas, and Harry Mulligan. We decided to go down there the night earlier, um, to go watch Dortmund play. And it was
Okay.
just luck that Borussia Dortmund were playing pretty much half an hour from where we were playing the next day. So we drove down there 3 hours. Tom Bock was driving on the wrong side of the road. I was directing him,
Oh,
and he was missing turns and doing all sorts of shit. I was forgetting to tell him where to go, and we eventually arrived at the game. We had we couldn't get tickets anywhere, so we thought we'll just go there and see what happens. So we rocked up there, and you got all those dodgy blokes out the front selling tickets.
yep.
Um, and Tom Box sort of led the charge, and he bought 4 tickets, and they somehow worked, and we were watching bloody Borussia Dortmund playing a sold-out stadium,
Bundesliga?
which Bundesliga game,
Yeah.
yeah. And I put it on my Instagram, and like everyone was just hit me up saying like, "How good's that? I've been trying to go there for years," and we literally just rocked up spur of the moment.
Yeah, no tickets.
Nah, no tickets, nothing, and yeah, it was a good experience that. So yeah, next morning we drove to the game, um, and yeah, we essentially rocked up. Um, Most of my family actually made the drive to Germany to come watch me,
Oh wow. Really
which
enjoy really
which was
enjoyed rugby
amazing.
league then.
Yeah, they pretty much watch every game I played, which was really good. So yeah, we rock up to Germany in the middle of nowhere, um, and yeah, essentially we start warming up. There's a huge crowd. There was only one entry to get into the game,
Hmm.
and like a massive crowd, and there's a bit of rivalry between the Dutch and the Germans. So as we were sort of walking out, you had to walk through the line essentially, and we were copping it in German from all these German blokes just getting grilled, and I can't understand German, so we were
It's not close to Dutch, really, is it?
no. People try and say it is, but it's not really. So a couple of Dutch boys could understand it, but us Aussie boys were just sort of walking through and copping
Yeah.
it. So yeah, they actually had to delay the game. I think maybe by about 20 minutes or so because there's such a big crowd they couldn't get him in quick enough.
Big crowd is in how many people?
I think there was maybe close to 700 or so,
Wow. Okay.
which is decent for a I guess for European rugby league.
Yep. And in that match, how did you go?
I went pretty well actually. Yeah, so I played centre the whole game.
Hmm.
Um, and my one of my cousins came up to me. He was like, "Oh, give us a post-try celebration if you score." And I said, I won't do it after one. I'll do it if I score a couple or something."
Okay.
I might have even said if I score a hat trick, I'll do a post-try celebration. So I think that first 5 minutes, it was all in their corner as well. They're all standing there in that corner where I
Yeah,
scored.
so there's a Dutch area.
Pretty much, yeah, and they were all standing there. So I'm playing centre, I score the first one, um, score another one, and I was gassed at this point. I think Lucas made a break, and me and Harry were backing him up, and I was yelling at him. I was like, pass it to Harry, pass it to Harry," and he popped it straight up to me, scored another try. So that was my third.
How
And
far into the game is this?
I was probably the first 20 minutes.
Oh wow.
I
Okay.
couldn't believe it.
20-minute
Like
hat trick.
they were all untouched as well. Like I was playing left side on Damon's side,
Hmm.
and Damon's been like Q Cup systems and all of that, so he's a gun. So I think first one he put me through a hole. Second one pretty much put me through a hole again, and then I score like the break. And I look up at the crowd and I see my family there, and they're telling me to do the post-try celebration. So actually hit the gritty
Oh,
right in the corner.
oh.
Hit the gritty. That's one of my specials. That one.
How'd the German fans react?
Oh, just copping even more stick from
Yeah,
them.
okay.
So I hit the gritty in their corner. Um, and I think for my fourth, I were attacking, and I think I might have hurt my ankle or something. So the winger was like, yeah, I'll come in. You go out in the wing because I was scoring all the tries. And he was like, fuck, I want to get a try.
Oh,
So I was like, yeah.
oh no.
He goes, give me. He goes, fucking let me have a go at centre. I'm like, no, no, no. So, but I moved out because I think I hurt my ankle or something. So I move out to the wing. Damon gets the ball, bang, straight cut out, straight to me, going untouched. Score my fourth. He's blowing up my centre.
Poor bloke. Did he get a try in the end at least?
No, 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 no.
Oh,
He didn't score at all. And so I was scoring tries in that corner. I was just geeing up the crowd after every try. I was sort of doing something. So yeah, we're actually half time. We're up by quite a bit. And we're cocky as in the changing room, so I'm just saying we're gonna like put them to bed and that. So we get out there. They score 2 or 3 quick tries in that second half, and I think we're only about 6 points ahead.
okay.
And we're like, holy shit! Like I'm thinking, I've just scored 4 tries, thinking we're about to win, and all this sort of stuff, and we're only winning by 6. I'm like, holy shit! Like we're about to lose this, and those 4 tries are going to mean nothing. And yeah, eventually we come back. I score again off a kick from Damon. And then my last one, pretty much Lucas passed it to me when in untouched again for my 6th try.
Far out. I was gonna say, was there a try that Damon didn't assist you?
Well, that's it. I think he set me up for about 4 of them.
Yeah, fair enough. Was he what, 5'8", fullback?
Yeah, he was playing 5'8".
5'8".
So we actually had a pretty good spine. We had Harry Mulligan playing fullback, New South Wales Cup. We had Damon playing in the halves, which was huge for us.
Yep.
And then Lucas playing, he was my second row on the left side.
Okay.
So I scored that 6th try, and I'm like, fuck, now 6 tries, I've got to do something here. So it just, I don't know what happened, but I just started hitting the Conor McGregor money walk, just walking down the dead ball line doing these ones. And yeah, bit of a carry on, but after 6 tries, I think it was deserved.
Was there a I want a 7th, or was it a bit late in the game for that?
Yeah, it was a bit late. I think I got that 6th try and I just couldn't believe it. And that was right pretty much at the end. I was like, I'm done here. Like, sure, like I think I've only ever scored maybe a hat trick, 3 tries. I've never scored 6. I just could not believe what was going on. Just all untouched pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. From that, yep.
And one other thing, so my auntie, she makes homemade alcohol, licorice, shots, I guess. And so she brought it with her. She goes, if you boys win, you get a shot. So we won. We go over to the crowd. We're celebrating. And she already had this tray full of about 30 shots ready for us. So straight after 80 minutes, so we're walking up, we're clapping. And she's come down to the barricade with this tray. I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. So I'm like calling all the boys over. The coach came over, like all the staff came over. And yeah, essentially we all do a shot together. All the boys are like, they're like dry reaching. Some of them are like, how good's this? This is unreal.
Is it good? I've never had it before.
If you like black licorice, you'll like it.
Okay. So no, probably not for me, man.
It's definitely a throat burner, especially after 80 minutes. But yeah, no, that's a great memory, that one.
All right. So from that game, you then head to where?
We head to the Czechia game.
Okay.
So
Carpool again?
no. We flew over, luckily.
Okay.
So I think we stayed 2 nights. We flew over Friday morning. We actually stayed in Poland because it was closer than staying in the city, I guess, or the main area in Czechia.
Okay.
It was closer to stay in a town in Poland.
Okay.
So yeah, we all flew there. We stayed there. We did some sort of team bonding sessions. It was a dry camp essentially.
Okay.
Which means no alcohol.
After the
Um,
shots. Like just for that
yeah.
game or
No, just because it's an away game, we're all sort of in a hotel in the city together.
yeah.
They name it a dry camp, so no alcohol. So we sort of go out for a team dinner. Sort of the coaches sort of doing. He went back to his room. It was sort of us and the trainers. A couple of Dutch boys, older boys, sort of went home, and then it was sort of us Aussie boys and another Dutch boy, and I think the trainer he left, and he was like, "All right, boys, you got a curfew. You got to be home at 12. Don't do anything silly. I'll see you in the morning." So it was us. I won't name any names, but it was about four of us, and I'll name one. Mas, he's a Dutch boy. He sort of took us Aussie boys under his wing and sort of showed us around Holland and that, and really sort of looked after us in Holland. So as soon as the coach, the trainer left, he sort of goes, "Oh, I'm just going to the toilet." Comes back with 4 pints of beer, and he goes, "Right, boys, it's time to switch on here." And I guess we had a couple too many beers, and I was lucky enough that my roommate sort of vouched for me. He said I was home on time, and I didn't get in trouble for it. So shout out Jimmy. But I mean, we told the coaches anyway after the win, and they were fine with it, as long as we're not hungover and can't play the next day and we lose. Then it's a different story. But
Yep.
you know,
I'll take it that didn't happen.
no. So we went there. Damon had to go back home, so we had two Dutch boys in the halves, and it was a 3 hour bus ride to Poland. We had to be up at about 8 in the morning, so we were a bit dusty. We all sort of slept on the bus there.
Yep.
Sort of rock up. We're just driving through these mountains. It was just mountains, nothing there in the middle of nowhere. And we get to the field, like literally in the middle of nowhere. It was about 5 degrees or something. It was so cold, and like I didn't have any cold weather gear really.
Yeah,
So
okay.
sort of just had jeans and a jacket, and I was freezing. And we're in the sheds, and we got like the heaters on, and it was so cold.
Was it winter there?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
pretty much going into winter, and we were like in the mountains in Czechia, and it was just so cold. And essentially, we won that game as well quite well. So that was a good way to sort of end the tour, I guess,
Yeah.
winning 5 from 5.
So then 2024 rolls around. Did you have to go through the same process, or because you played well in 2023, you just kind of were picked and asked to come over?
So we obviously got preference.
Mm-hmm.
So as I said before, Dave's and Matt Rigby got a lot of boys sort of getting in contact with him, wanting to play.
Yep.
But I don't know if you know, it's all pretty much self-funded by us.
Okay. I
So
didn't know that.
yeah, so a lot of the guys, when they find out, it's like they just want to come over and say they played for it. They don't really care. They got no sort of roots back to Holland. So Dave sort of explained that to us when we first were going through the process. He was like, "Look, you got to, it's all self-funded. We're not going to put you up in a hotel for 5 weeks, and we're not paying for your flights. You're sort of playing for pride, I guess." And
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly why I was going over. I wanted to represent my family in that. So he sort of messaged us. Started 2024. He said, "Look, we got 4 games. Who can make it, who can't." We all said we could make it again. Unfortunately, Harry couldn't. He broke his eye socket.
Oh,
Which was a huge loss for us.
yikes.
Huge loss. So I actually stepped in and played fullback that year. Nowhere near up to what he did the year before, but
Mm-hmm.
I did all right. So yeah,
Had you ever played fullback before?
no, just sort of filling in the game here and there.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, Harry couldn't play, and Lucas didn't play again. So Tom Bock, younger brother, came and played.
Okay.
He's a hooker as well, so he came and shared the hooker role with Jimmy, which essentially allowed me to play fullback that year.
Yeah, fair. So first game up against Scotland, bit of a closer one this one compared to the 2023 tour, 34-26. How did this one go?
Yeah, so there's a bit of talk. Like, when you think about Scotland, you think they're going to be a pretty good rugby league. Essentially,
Yeah.
they're a rugby league and rugby union nation, I guess. So we were going into that game thinking it was going to be a tough, hard battle, which it was. And yeah, essentially we got the win. Yeah, just a hard, gritty, hard fought win, I guess,
Yeah.
against Scotland. So that was huge as well. So we each year we're sort of versing better and better teams, and we're sort of knocking them off slowly. So that was huge for us to beat Scotland. And
Yep.
I think the Scotland coach sort of came up to us and were like, you guys are moving in the right direction. You're doing quite well. So, like, good on to you, really.
The next game you come up against Ireland, who I think were a little bit of a step up from Scotland. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, huge step up.
You ended up losing this one, so your first loss of your Netherlands career, 38-28, but you were down quite a significant margin at half time. You fought back. How did this one go for you?
Yeah, so going into that week, we were like, it was a huge step up to play Ireland.
Yep.
Pretty much the whole team was a bunch of just young sort of reserve grade Super League players, essentially. They all had like Leeds Rhino contracts. They all had bloody Wigan contracts and that. So we're thinking, like, how good's this? We're coming up against some future stars, I guess.
Yep.
And we didn't really put too much pressure on ourselves to win that game. We were just sort of saying like just imagine if we go out there and win, and sort of had that belief that, like, let's just go out there, let's play our best footy and just see how we go. Like, let's just go out there and beat them. So yeah, that first half was just a whole different ball game. Like, all the Dutch boys in halftime, like, holy fuck, I can't believe how quick they are. Like, they never experienced something like that. So
Yep. So it was
we
mainly
sort of
just speed, or they had like set plays that were better than the other countries you were against?
bit of just speed, really. Like, we didn't really hold them down too well, so they were getting up real quick.
Yep.
They had good backline moves. And yeah, they just blew us off that park that first half. And we sort of went into that sheds, and again, Damon was like, imagine if we just like go out there and win. Like, just imagine it. And we sort of came out there and scored a couple tries, and the deficit, they didn't score that second half. So like you were saying, it was 30-12, and we were sort of getting closer and closer and closer. And it was hot as well. So it was a tough game. So we're getting closer and closer, and we score. Unfortunately, we missed the kick, which would have drawn it.
Yep.
And there was about maybe 3 minutes to go or something. We get the kick off. We sort of marched down there, and we just didn't score, and yeah, it was devastating.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially against Ireland. They're coming off a World Cup.
Oh yeah, World Cup. Yeah, they're one of the big dogs in Europe. So they've just come off a World Cup. They've beaten countries, and they've got good systems as well in Ireland. So, yeah, it was pretty devastating to win, because that would have been absolutely huge for us to win that. And that was my first loss in the Dutch jersey, so I was quite I was a bit rattled there as well, because all I knew was winning. So
I can imagine, because going into beating Serbia, then you take that step up. Scotland, another kind of step up. I know they're not ranked higher, but in my opinion, they probably have better sides.
Yeah, definitely.
Then to almost beat Ireland, it's sounding like Dutch footy's kind of on the up there.
Oh, definitely. And we were playing in Amsterdam there, so I had home ground for me, so I had probably like 20 family and friends there watching me. My mum actually came over for the 2024 season,
Okay.
which was huge.
Bit of extra motivation.
Yeah,
Just as soon as you were going over there mainly to represent her
yeah, represent
background, right?
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty special. Singing the anthem in front of her and that was quite good. I had a little tear in the eye when I was singing the anthem, but yeah, no, it was good to have her there.
Yep. Next game, you go away from comfortable Amsterdam. You head over to Serbia away, which to me sounds wild.
Yeah, pretty daunting.
Is that how you felt about it? What is it
Pretty
like in real
much.
life compared to what you expected?
Oh, it was a whole different world over there. So we um we flew we flew to Bulgaria. Um
Yep.
and yeah,
That
we
also sounds crazy to me.
yeah, it's like as soon as you step in that taxi and you got some Bulgarian bloke barely speak English taking you to the hotel, you got no idea where you are. We had like barely any reception.
Yep.
Um it's actually a pretty nice city where we were in both Serbia and Bulgaria.
Okay.
It's quite nice there, but yeah, it's just a whole different culture over there, I guess. Um, so we rock up the day before in Bulgaria.
Mhm.
Tom, Luke, and I went there a bit earlier during the day.
Yep.
Um, where there we sort of explored. The rest of the boys got there a bit later, and essentially the same thing. We dry camp, had a curfew. All the boys went to bed, and old ringleader Mars sort of stepped up and took us out again, and pretty much did the same thing. Got home a bit later than we should have, and had to get the bus the next morning quite early. We had to be down at in the lobby at 8 o'clock for breakfast. So we're all down there having brekkie, and then supposed to get the 9 o'clock bus, and the bloody bus had broken down.
Oh,
So,
could have had an extra bit of sleep.
well, that's what like we were saying. We're like, oh, let's go back to the hotel, have a sleep. So the bus got delayed for about an hour and a half, I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all sitting there. We'll have to get a replacement bus. So yeah, essentially we get the bus over the border. It took us in. We were at the border for about an hour because Serbia's not part of Europe. So we'll have to show passports.
Yeah.
Yeah, show the passports, get them stamped. Like big Serbian blokes with machine guns and all sorts of. You can only imagine what it was like.
Yeah.
On it, we're all on our best behaviour, just not saying much, just trying to get through. So we get through, stinking hot in Serbia. It's about 30 degrees, I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
And we obviously arrive late. The Serbians they're already warming up as we're coming off the bus. So we get off the bus, and they've got like these 4 big speakers around the stadium, and it's just blasting Serbian drill music. And we're walking. It's like walking into an ambush. It's 30 degrees. They're warming up.
Intimidating.
Oh, 100%. So intimidating. Like the security, like not one game there had been a security guard.
Yeah.
And there was about 5 of them there.
Jesus.
And
They wanted revenge.
like yeah, like legit. And so we rock up, and they're sort of like they're telling us to hurry up, get changed. Like they're telling us we're not allowed to have a warm up and this and that to try to get the game going. So like yeah, so we're walking in there. We're pretty much walking into an ambush. And yeah, essentially we had like about 20-minute warm up, and next thing we're playing. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. And yeah, so we were thinking like Serbia at home, like they're going to be better than last year. Like it's going to be a tough game in Serbia, and like they had a decent crowd there, full of Serbians, and shout out to my mum and my auntie and uncle and my cousins. They actually flew to Bulgaria with us and got on
the trip. Wow.
yeah, they got on the team bus with us.
Oh wow. Okay.
So they were on the team bus. I said to my mum before, I said, "Mum, sit at the front of the bus and don't look back." So yeah, they travelled over to Bulgaria and Serbia. This was huge.
How did they feel with the home crowd?
Well, they were pretty good. They were sort of had their own little section, and they were singing the whole game.
Yeah, wow.
And they were singing Dutch songs and sort of cheering for us as well, which was huge.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we went there. We beat them quite well. I think we beat them by more than last time. I think.
52-6 I got here.
Yeah.
No, yeah, smashing.
So that was huge.
Did that kind of silence the crowd, or
Oh yeah,
were
yeah.
they just going at it the whole game
No, there was no crowd left after
by the
that
end of it?
full time.
Oh, rough.
So yeah, that was good. We sort of finished that. We went next door. There was some restaurant. We all had a feed together. It was the best food I've ever had in my life. That meat there. So had a feed there. Had some beers. Did like a presentation. Actually, I got man of the match for that game.
Awesome. At fullback too?
Fullback on about 3 hours of sleep from the night before.
What did you get up to in Bulgaria, man? What's the nightlife like?
Well, we just followed Mas really. He's
Where
got
did Mas take you?
Mas is that type. He's got no filter.
Yep.
He just does anything. He gets into anything.
Yep.
As in like just any sort of situation, he'll just do it. We just followed him. Really went to a couple bars. Just typical like what you can imagine. Really, like just Bulgarian people speaking the language they speak. And
How was the exchange rate? Was everything cheap? Or
yeah, it was pretty good. I think. But yeah, it was pretty cheap. Like even that first year when we went to the Czech Republic, it was like $1 for a pint.
Oh,
We couldn't believe it. Yeah, so that's why. Like when we were there, we're like,
you got to stay out.
We're only here once. Like and like you may as well. Like we won't go too hard. So same as in Serbia. It was like $1 pints for beer. So
I wish,
we
man.
were sort of yeah. So that bus ride back was pretty full on.
Yeah.
You
And
can
then
imagine.
from there, it was just home the next day. Did you stay in Europe for a bit?
So I was on a flight home with my mum.
Yep.
So we left the next morning at about 8 o'clock back to Holland.
Yep.
The boys' flight got delayed 6 hours. So
A lot of delays here, man.
so they all went out that night after the game and sort of picked up their luggage from the hotel and went to the airport and sort of got told that their flight's getting delayed. So they already checked out. So they had pretty much just all slept at the airport for 6 hours.
It's a lot I want to be doing, man.
Yeah. So we flew back home, and that was the end of the campaign. And me and Tom, we stayed an extra week. We actually went to Manchester.
Okay.
So our team manager, Matt Rigby, he's I think he's general manager or the team manager for Rochdale Hornets over in England.
Okay.
Which is essentially in the competition under the Super League.
Yep.
So that's massive for us to have Matty there, coming from a professional organisation, coming into the Dutch team, sort of
For sure.
really trying to instill that professionalism into us and that. So shout out Matty. He's a legend. So we actually went to Manchester, me and Tom, the week after. And for the Super League Grand Final, we watched Wigan and Hull KR.
Wigan got the win, right? From what
Wigan
I remember.
won, yeah. Wigan won, but we've actually got a partnership with Hull KR, the Dutch team.
Yeah, okay.
So there was a couple invites back to the after party for the Hull KR. So unfortunately they lost, and that sort of didn't happen.
Yeah.
But if they won, it would have been incredible and
Hectic, yeah. Well, at the moment, Netherlands are currently ranked 11th.
or 11th.
Do you think there's a World Cup close for the Netherlands? Because the next one's 4 years after. Are they on that kind of trajectory?
Well,
how's that looking?
Essentially, that's the goal.
Because there's teams that are ranked below you
I know
that have been in the World Cup. Is that like a qualification process, or?
Yeah, that's what we're saying. But essentially, the 2030 World Cup's the goal. But I mean, with a 10-team World Cup, and you've got 6 to 8 sort of tier one nation
Yeah.
teams like Aussie, Tonga, and
Yep.
Samoa and all that, there's just not much possibilities for us lower ranked teams to sort of make
Hmm.
the World Cup.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not really a World Cup, is it? If you got 10 teams in there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Do you think they need to
So
add like? Have you seen the how the T20 World Cup works in cricket?
I
How
think
they
so.
have like an A tier
Exactly.
and then a B tier, and then the winners of the B tier go up. Do you think they should implement something like that?
I was talking to Matty Rigby about that today. Essentially, they've got the Challenge Cup over in England. It's essentially the FA Cup,
Yep.
what they play in soccer. So essentially the same as what you're saying. So or your lower tier nations play first, and then the best teams that win keep moving up and up and up
Yeah.
type thing until you start versing, sort of the better teams.
I think they could do bits for the World Cup because watching
Oh,
the
it'd be
last
massive.
one, like you'd have Greece there. No disrespect to Greece, when they come up against like an Australia and England, New Zealand, it was just boring to watch because it was just like
Oh yeah,
66 nil, 72 nil, like those type
yeah.
of score lines. But if you have like a Netherlands versus Ireland, that
Mm,
game, televise it, World Cup, I think that could do bits for it. Ratings would go
100%.
up, closer games, and I think it would be
100%.
good for all the nations that get into the World Cup.
Yeah, 100%. We've been saying that for a while, but I mean, like Matty was saying, it all comes down to money, I guess.
Yep. All right, guys. Sorry, I just had a technical difficulty there. I think
Yeah,
it
so
cut out on my end. Oh, like I was saying, when you got guys like Luke Keary going over there, I think from a business standpoint, of course, they're probably going to put Ireland in the World Cup ahead of a Netherlands. But yeah, like I said, I just think doing a two-tier system would be much better.
oh, definitely. But it also comes down to what teams bring what pros over as well, I guess. So
Yep.
as you said, Luke Keary can play for Ireland. There's a lot of NRL boys that can play for for different European countries. Essentially,
Yeah,
I think they were saying
he can.
Pappenhausen can play for the
He
Netherlands. So
can. But do you
it'd
know
be
of
good
any
to get
other
him
players
over. He
that can
might
go
take.
over and
Yep.
play for the
Uh,
Netherlands?
Not really. I think there's one Q Cup player.
Okay.
Um, can't remember his name. Um, but yeah, that's what I mean. It all depends on who brings who over.
Yeah. Fair call. Uh, Last thing before we wrap this up. Is there anywhere for the people listening where they can watch the Netherlands this year? Is it televised to Australia at all?
I
Is there a
think
YouTube stream?
yeah, there's definitely YouTube links,
Hmm.
couple Facebook links that I sort of just send out to my family and friends.
Okay.
Um, I think like the International Rugby League or European Rugby League, they got a Facebook page. They sometimes post some links in there. But yeah, it's a bit tough to the quality and that to sort of watch them all the way over here in Australia.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean,
Like
it'd be great if it was televised. It'd be unreal.
they just kind of need that like contract though, don't they? If it's just like Facebook links, it's a
Yeah,
bit hard to keep up with.
yeah, this yeah, we need sponsors and yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right, man. It's been a
Um,
pleasure having you on.
I
Uh,
sounds good.
what was
I
that?
just want
Sorry.
to
Yeah. Yeah.
quickly shout out. I just want to quickly shout out Matty Rigby. Um, he's doing a lot for our team. He actually lives in England, so he's got to fly over every time for trainings and that, as well as Dave Hunter.
Oh,
He lives in Norway. Um, they all just do it out of the love of the game. So massive props to them too. Um, and also Dan van Rossum. He essentially started rugby league in the Netherlands about 15, 20 years ago, and he's probably single-handedly got it to where it is now. So sort of credit where credit's due there to those three guys and the rest of the staff.
yeah. Huge. It sounds like they're taking the Netherlands in a very good direction. You're beating teams that you probably weren't favoured to beat. And yeah, it seems like you guys are on the up. It's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. It's been
Yeah,
very interesting.
definitely.
I knew virtually nothing about European Rugby League before this, but Sounds interesting. Sounds like there were some tough matches in there. Some teams that were a little bit dirty, some teams that were a little bit better. But yeah, thanks for coming on the podcast, man.
Nah, too easy. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All good. All right, guys, stay blessed. Have a good day. We will be back doing our preseason reviews shortly. Have a good one.